Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the hidden stories behind company filings. Today we're diving into some interesting moves at STEELCASE Incorporated, and trust me, it involves more than just office furniture. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where we break down these filings even further. Today's filing tells a story about a company preparing for a big change and how it is handling its financial commitments along the way. We're talking about the acquisition of STEELCASE by H&I Corporation, and what that means for STEELCASE's existing debt. This report, filed as a Form 8K, is all about significant events that a company needs to tell its investors about right away. And for STEELCASE, the biggest news is related to its pending acquisition by H&I. Now, STEELCASE itself is a well-established furniture maker. They've been around for a while, and you probably know their name from office spaces. But today, the focus isn't on their chairs or desks, it is on their bonds. STEELCASE has publicly traded stock, specifically Class A common stock, traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker SES. This means a lot of people and institutions own a piece of the company, and they need to be kept informed. The main event here is about a material definitive agreement, which basically means a really important contract has been signed. This agreement is directly tied to the acquisition we mentioned earlier. H&I, the company buying STEELCASE, is offering to exchange STEELCASE's existing debt, specifically their 5.125% senior notes due in 2029, for new debt issued by H&I. Think of it like this: STEELCASE owes people money through these specific bonds. When H&I buys STEELCASE, they're essentially taking over that debt, but before that fully happens, H&I wants to make some changes to those original STEELCASE bonds. This exchange offer and consent solicitation is H&I's way of getting the bondholders to agree to those changes. The crucial part of this is getting the agreement from those holding STEELCASE's existing notes. H&I asked these bondholders to give their consent or approval to change the terms of the original agreement, the indenture. These changes are designed to get rid of certain restrictive rules and requirements that were originally in place for those bonds. Essentially, they want to make the debt easier for H&I to manage after the acquisition. And good news for the deal, H&I got the necessary consents. This means the bondholders are on board with changing the outdated rules that used to apply to STEELCASE's debt. Following the consent, STEELCASE and the trustee for these bonds, which is the Bank of New York Mellon Trust Company, NA, signed a new document, a first supplemental indenture. This document officially puts those proposed amendments into effect. It is like adding an amendment to a contract to update it based on new circumstances. However, there is a little bit of a catch. While this new agreement is legally binding now, the actual changes to the debt rules won't kick in until the acquisition is fully completed and the exchange of bonds happens. This settlement date is expected to be within 5 business days after the 27th of October of this year, unless H&I decides to push that date back. The company notes that if the acquisition itself gets delayed, H&I might extend this deadline to make sure everything lines up. This filing also includes the actual legal document, the first supplemental indenture, as an exhibit. This is where all the nitty-gritty details of the agreement are laid out. While we won't go through every single word, it is important to know that this document formalizes the changes to STEELCASE's debt in preparation for the H&I takeover. And as is standard for an 8K that involves material agreements, it lists out all the exhibits that are part of this announcement. The key one here, besides the main filing itself, is Exhibit 4.1, which is that first supplemental indenture we just discussed. Now, let us step back and look at the bigger picture here. This is directly a financial results report like a 10Q or 10K that shows revenues and profits from operations. Instead, this 8K filing is all about the corporate maneuvering around an acquisition. The story here is about managing the debt of the company being acquired. H&I stepping in and getting the bondholders to agree to amend the terms of STEELCASE. Existing debt shows a proactive approach to cleaning up the financial obligations before the deal is fully closed. From a Warren Buffett perspective, when a company is acquired, you want to see how the buyer handles the existing debt. Are they taking on a burdensome amount? Are they restructuring it in a way that makes sense? In this case, H&I is getting the bondholders to agree to soften some of the restrictions. This can be a good sign, as it might mean less hassle for H&I to integrate STEELCASE financial structure into its own. It suggests they are trying to streamline the process and potentially reduce future financial constraints inherited from STEELCASE. One of the notable opportunities here is that by amending these covenants, ANI might gain more flexibility in how they manage the combined entity as finances. The risks, though, are always present when dealing with acquisitions. Delays in the main acquisition could complicate these debt-related arrangements. Also, while bondholders agreed to the changes, the actual economic benefit or detriment will only be clear over time as the new structure matures. In conclusion, this filing is less about Steelcase S Day 2. Day performance and more about the financial engineering happening behind the scenes of its acquisition. It shows a company and its buyer working to simplify and adapt Steelcase S debt obligations, clearing the path for a smoother transition. While we don't have specific financial numbers from this report, the actions described indicate a strategic effort to manage liabilities effectively. Alright, that is our breakdown of Steelcase S latest filing. What is your take on these debt-related maneuvers and what they signal for the company? S future under INE, S future under NI. Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.